arms and garbed in riot gear for peaceful situations. Recruiting videos now feature clips of SWAT team officers dressed in black, hurling flash grenades into a home, then storming the house, firing automatic weapons. Who wants anyone recruited by that video working their neighborhood? As a city councilman in rural Wisconsin commented when told his police were getting a 9-foot-tall armored vehicle, somebody has to be the first to say, "Why are we doing this?" The New York Times reports that the town's police chief responded that there's always a possibility of violence. Really? Who threatens us with such mayhem that every burg needs a war zone armory and a commando mentality? Astonishingly, a sheriff's spokesman in suburban Indianapolis offered this answer: veterans. The sheriff's department needed a mine-resistant armored vehicle, he explained, to defend itself against U.S. veterans returning from the Afghanistan war. War veterans, he said, have the ability and knowledge to build homemade bombs and to defeat law enforcement techniques. This is Jim Hightower saying that is lame, loopy, insulting, shameful, and just plain stupid. Maybe he just forgot to pack his brain when he left for work that day, but I'm afraid it's a window into the altered mindset of police chiefs and trainers.
To get more of Jim Hightower's populist take on what Wall Street and Washington are up to, visit www.hightowerlowdown.org.
Redland's Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company has been serving the greater Inland Empire for over 60 years. For all of your printing needs, from full-color printing to high-speed copying and everything in between, go to Redland's Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. Their staff is committed to your total satisfaction. Great service isn't just lip service at Redland's Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. It's the way they do business year after year. Having trouble finding drafting supplies? Redland's Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company still carries a complete selection. Redland's Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company is rated high in customer satisfaction by Value Star, an independent rating company. For all of your personal or business printing, call Redland's Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company at 909-792-3478. That's 792-3478. Or
ladies and gentlemen, he's a child of God, a husband, NRA conservative, radical right-wing supervillain, and Twitter rock star. American by birth, Texan by choice, and a badass by nature. He's the owner of TomO'Halloran.com, O'HalloranMedia.com, and PatriotRadio.net. Please welcome Tom O'Halloran.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome to the Wednesday night edition of Patriot Radio with Tom O'Halloran. And I am the Tom O'Halloran. I'm broadcasting tonight from my underground bunker deep in Arkansas, Nebraska, and I'm here to educate, irritate, and agitate. But you know what? Tonight, you're not going to be agitated. We're going to do something real different tonight. I'm going to fill you with hope. I'm going to do a special show tonight. I'm going to show you exactly what we need to do to turn this country around. Now, I know there's a lot of plans out there. Most candidates, people running for office, have their 5-point plan to do it. It's going to take a whole lot more than 5 points. It's going to take a bulldozer and a chainsaw. But we're going to show you what needs to be done tonight. Now, if you'd like to join the conversation, please call 888-909-1050. If you'd like to listen on your phone, call 832-999-1050. You can also listen to the live stream or now watch the live stream video at patriotradioshow.com. You can also join the chat room and be part of the conversation there as well. Again, my name is Tom O'Halloran. On Twitter, I'm TPO_himself. My primary blog is TomO'Halloran.com. When you get there, please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Spreaker, any other social media you like. Also, please follow my editor, Veronica Coffin. She does an incredible job keeping 12 websites up to date, does all the heavy lifting, and frees me up to be able to do this. You'll find her follow button on the bottom of every post. We've also got a Facebook page. Please find facebook.com/Patriot Radio Show. I'm on air 3 nights a week, so please catch the Tuesday night edition each week, this show, and on Fridays at the same time, I do Jihad on America, where I uncover the Islamists in America, who they are, what they want, and why you should be afraid. Each week we continue pulling back the mask of Islam, taking a look at what's being done in the name of Allah, both here and abroad. And I do the news of Islam around the world because it's a glimpse into the future of what's going to be happening here in America if we allow the cancer of Islam to spread. If you did not catch my show on the Muslim Brotherhood or my show, Islam is not a religion, please, please, please do yourself, myself, and America the favor of finding your way to patriotradioshow.com and catching these 2 shows. It'll open your eyes. It'll make you see the subject in a very, very different light. And it'll also lay a solid foundation upon which we build each and every week. Keep abreast of my shows. Listen to the live stream as well as archives of shows you may have missed, all on patriotradioshow.com. So, back in 2009, just months after Obama was sworn into office, I sat down and I created a website called A Bold Step Back. Back as opposed to his forward. Back as into back to our greatness. Back to where America was a leading country in every measure. Back to when being an American was something to be proud of. The site's long gone, but the plan has survived. I moved it over to my primary blog. And tonight I'm going to run through it with you, along with some handwritten notes, because I haven't really updated the page at all. But I'm going to go over a whole list of stuff, and please stay with us up front. There's a little bit of verbose explanation, but it's going to pick up steam, and you're going to be making notes, because I'm going to show you stuff that no other politician has talked about, not other politicians, that no politician. I am not running for office. I will not run for office. You couldn't make me run for office. So that's as adamant as any candidate has ever done. But we've lost focus as a country, as a party, as a conservative party, and I speak of the party being the Republican Party, of which I've not been a member of for a long time. I am a conservative. I used to be a Republican. They left me. I didn't leave them. But what's happened over the years, we've become so adamant about pro-life, about pro-marriage. We wouldn't endorse, we wouldn't even talk to, let alone endorse any candidates in 2008 and 2012 unless they were pro-life and pro-marriage. And what ended up happening? We ended up losing the entire middle of the country, all the centrists, whether they were Republicans or whether they were independents, we lost them. And the other guy got the vote, Barack Hussein Obama. So what did we get? By being adamantly pro-life, we ended up with the most pro-abortion administration in the U.S. history. We're shooting ourselves in our foots, in our collective foots. Our pride, our resolve, our refusal to negotiate, our refusal to take something off the table, our refusal to be inclusive has cost us far more than we could ever have imagined. As a country, we've gone from electing statesmen that were worried about the country, about the Constitution. And for decades now, we've been electing politicians that are only worried about the next election. Even when we do send a good man to D.C., it doesn't take long before he learns that he's got to sign off on somebody else's pork bill if he wants to get votes for his bill. And then he's right in the thick of it. It's the game. And there isn't that much of a difference, as you know right now, between the Democrats and the Republicans. The right is so split. If you're too far to the right, you lose the middle. If you're too far to the middle, you lose the right. We don't need a third party. What we need to do is completely rebrand the Republican Party. The Republican Party has the money. They've got the machine. You could start up a third party, but you'd never have a chance of winning, which is why we've never had a libertarian president. We've never had a Green Party president, because the money, the machine is all in the Republican Party. But the Republican Party has a nasty taste to it. We rebrand it. Well, what does rebranding do? What comes to mind when I say the Exxon Mediterranean? Nothing, right? There's nothing vulgar, vile about that. Well, the Exxon Mediterranean was the Exxon Valdez. See what I'm getting at? We need a new name, something like the Liberty Party. Completely retool the platform. Completely retool it. We've got to do away with all the gay issues, all the pro-life issues. Send this crap to the states. Let the states decide whether gay marriage is right or not, whether abortion is going to be allowed or not. If people don't like the law where they live, they can move to another state. Send it to the states. Let's build a party that can get enough votes to elect a president, to elect a Congress, a Senate, that will move the country in the right direction. Now, the next item is we got to identify the right people to elect. Look at who's in office now. See how they have voted. How long have they been there? Term limits. Oh, Lordy, we need term limits. I suggest 2 terms in each office. 2 terms as a congressman, and if you can get to the Senate, 2 terms there. And that's it. You're just a government employee. You can go work in the Department of Defense or the Department of whatever as a government employee, but no more elected offices, at least none that you've already served in. Too much power gets transferred with it, which is why we're seeing congressmen getting convicted and doing time, trading votes for gifts, because they've got the power to do all these things. And it's too tempting, even for a good man sometimes. Folks, stay with us. We're just barely scratching the surface. I promise you, this is going to be an exciting show. We'll be right back.
Tom O'Halloran.
We'll put a boot in your ass. It's an American way. All brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Of my red, white, and blue.
And welcome back. This is the Wednesday night edition of Patriot Radio with Tom O'Halloran, and I am your host, Tom O'Halloran. Tonight we're doing something different. Rather than reading through the news and getting you agitated, I'm sharing with you my plan to get America back on track. It's a plan unlike anything that you've ever heard. I go where no man has gone before. So please stick around. There's a lot coming up. And thank you for tuning in. Just before the break, we're talking about identifying who has to go, what congressmen to get rid of. It's an easy thing. We can look at their votes, find out how long they've been there, and draw the lines. Finding people that will go to office. This is not going to be the gravy train that it has been for years. We need to find people that are going to serve, to be public servants. We're looking for people that will go and put forth bills that nobody is going to vote for. Nobody will support this. The congressmen that are up there are greedy. They want everything. We plan to take everything away from them, as my plan will lay out shortly. But we need people that will go and put forth plans, refuse to endorse and sign on to any bill that doesn't go along with the plan. And they may have a miserable, lonely 2 years or 4 years in office. But congressmen are just government employees. We need to end the gravy train. Right now, a congressman is going to get a lifetime retirement no matter how long he serves. They get top-notch gyms, free haircuts. They get tons of free stuff, the best medical care. They vote themselves pay raises. A congressman makes $174,000 for sitting in a cushy office and shaking hands. A soldier makes $30,000, a mid-weight one. It's unfair. Roll back all congressional pay. They should be making the same amount of money that a soldier or a postal worker gets. That's it. They are government employees. And this needs to end. The gravy train ends now. They get the same health care, the same retirement. If they work in the government for 20 years, they get retirement, just like any other job. But two cycles, that's 4 years in the Congress. 2 6 years, that's 12 and 4. We're looking at 16 years. They better find another 4 years to work for the government, or they're not going to get a retirement. That's the way it works. This is not a career. It's government service. Next, rather than writing thousands of laws to make, did you realize how many laws there are? It's virtually impossible for an American to wake up, go to work, come home, and not have broken a couple of laws. Virtually impossible. There's so much that's legislated. Take them off the books. Take them off the books. An incentive program for removing unnecessary laws, which are basically just put there to penalize, to take money away from honest, hardworking citizens. Their taxes and fees. Transparency. We were promised that with Obama. In retrospect, we've had the least transparent president in American history. We need bills posted on the online for days, if not weeks, before anybody votes on it. None of this bringing out a bill 2 hours before it's signed. And the congressmen are lawmakers. Congressmen and their staff need to write the laws. I'm sick and tired of lobbyists, special interests writing laws. Look what we got with it. Obamacare, written by the lobbyists, written by healthcare people. Bring it back. No more pork. If a bill is about a highway, it is a highway bill. Nothing else gets buried into it. They stack these bills. I'll vote for your bill if you put this, pig smell research thing in there for me, so I can make some money for a contributor of mine that gives me a lot of campaign money. Bull crap. No more stacking bills. If the bill is about something, that's the only subject in the bill. Getting insane out there. Voting. Oh, for the love of Pete. Voting. We've got the absolute worst voting system in the world. You can go to Afghanistan where they didn't vote for a long, long time, and these guys come out of their caves. They walk down into the valley. They show their identification card with a photo on it. They dip their finger into purple ink, and then they vote. That ink won't wash off for several days. They've got a photo ID. They have proof that they've already voted. There's no way they can walk into another district and vote again. Here in America, we have early voting. We have mail voting. We have a 5-day voting period where you can move from district to district, from state to state to state. It's corrupt. We've got to end the voting. Have a 2-day voting period. Use the purple ink. But before we get to that even, we need to scrap all voter rolls. Every one of them in every state. If you want to vote, you need to go down, present an ID, a state-issued ID, not a school ID that's written up by a classmate, but a state, i.e. DMV-type ID. And you have 2 days to vote. So if you're working, vote the next day. 2 days. That's it. We've got dead people. We have cartoon characters. We've got people voting on several different voter rolls. Purge the rolls. Get rid of everybody. Start from scratch. Voter rolls 2.0. Move it forward. Mandatory state IDs. Election day, maybe 2 days. Proof of voting, the fingertip. If you have a need for a mail-in ballot, you have to show proof. Show that you're immobile. You've got a handicap sticker. You have something, a real reason why you are unable to move about. If you're bedridden, that's one thing. But if you have a handicap sticker, you're able to get down to Walmart. You can get down to vote. Criminal prosecution for anyone caught doing any form of voter fraud. Mandatory 25-year sentence. Mandatory 25-year sentence for anyone responsible for and failing to get the military ballots out and back in time. In 2012, thousands, literally thousands of military ballots didn't make it back for 2 weeks after the election. That's criminal. These people are putting their life on the line, life and limb on the line to keep our freedom, to keep us a free nation so that we can vote. And these scumbags in the White House are doing everything they can to prevent the military from voting. They want criminals to vote. They want illegal aliens to vote. That's what this open border crap is. Bringing in hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens and settling them in states where they need to get more votes for the Democrats so they get the election rigged. So, complete overhaul on the electoral system. Complete, head to toe. Next. Stop funding the arts. No more giving money to museums. No more giving money to symphonies. Crap. If people want to hear the symphony, they'll buy the tickets. If businesses want to give money to it, they can write the money. I'm okay with giving them a percentage of a discount on their taxes, but not a full write-off, because that's the same thing as giving tax money to it. If people want to go to a museum, they'll buy tickets for it. Stop funding NPR. Same thing. National Public Radio. If people want to watch it or listen to the radio, they'll buy the ads. They'll pay for it. Stop requiring that somebody has to belong to a union to get a government contract. Right now, if you want to give a government contract to put up a highway, you have to be a union shop. All this is it's a way for the left to give money to the unions to get their votes. Stop using taxpayer dollars to buy votes for the left. Any stimulus money that we do spend needs to go to real infrastructure jobs, not this bull crap green stuff, giving money to campaign donors for Solyndra and the other 37 failed companies that Obama has given millions and millions to. No more earmarks, period. I'm sick and tired of watching shrimp on treadmills, overpasses to protect turtles, southern tar sand research. Taxpayer dollars shouldn't be spent to advertise pork or eggs or chicken or any of that. If the industries want to advertise, let the industries pay. Don't use my tax dollars. Don't use my tax dollars to subsidize tobacco or pay farmers not to farm. Any valid research that needs to be done needs to be approved by a board of scientists, not by politicians that are directing money to their campaign contributors. Let the states decide all issues regarding abortion, gay marriage, and such. We covered this earlier. No need to meddle. Any federal money spent should be spent on all the states. I'm sick and tired of the chairman of certain committees getting hospitals and bridges and highways and public buildings named after them because they're bringing all of this crap projects back to their people. It isn't their people. It isn't their money. Folks, we got a lot more coming up. Please stay with us.
Tom O'Halloran, holding the line against tyranny from Washington, D.C.
I am America. One voice, united we stand. I am America. One hope to heal our land. There is still work that must be done. I will not rest until we've won. I am America.
Welcome back. This is Patriot Radio with Tom O'Halloran, and I am your host, Tom O'Halloran. You've tuned in tonight to the special edition. It's Saving the Republic. And I've been going over a plan that I drew up several years back of what we need to do to turn the country around. And if you're just tuning in, you will want to listen to the whole show because I'm saying things no one else has said. Now, tax breaks for companies that bring jobs back home. So many companies have offshored jobs because it makes more sense to do it over there. I would do it over there. If American unions are making me pay $35, $40 for a floor sweeper or a screw turner, I'm going to do it offshore where I can do it cheaper. Make it make sense to bring the jobs back home. Burger King is merging with Tim Hortons up in Canada. This is going to give them the ability to move their corporate headquarters up there. They're not trying to avoid taxes here in the States. What's happening is they've got some 12,000 stores all around the world. They pay taxes in those countries. But when they bring their profits back into America, they're also being taxed at 35% here in America on top of what they already paid. Most countries don't do that. Canada doesn't do that. So when they bring the money in from other countries, they'll bring it into Canada and keep the money for development stuff around the world. Money made in America, they'll keep it here in America. They've already paid their taxes on it. But make it make sense for businesses to bring the jobs back home. We need them here. Have a true nonpartisan panel set fair congressional districts that will prohibit gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is a means of drawing up lines to ensure that one party manages to stay in office in certain areas, certain influential areas. And it goes on both sides of the aisle, and it needs to end. Take it county by county or whatever you got to do. There has to be a better way to do it so that it's fair and equitable to both. Because it isn't fair to one party or the other. We want it fair to America. It's our country, not the party's country. Undo the restrictions on the Second Amendment. Keep the right to bear arms a right. So many states are trying to ban the right to bear arms. People are getting arrested driving through New Jersey with a gun in the car. A registered legal gun, but they have a law saying you can't do this or that, and that's not right. Strike the protected class hate crime regulations. While well-meaning, the issue's out of control. A white person shooting a black person shooting a white shooting a white. A crime is a crime. Whether you do it out of racial hate or hate toward a gay or whatever, a crime is a crime. A violent crime is a violent crime. It's stupid. It's stupid that shooting one person for being in your way is going to be 5 years, but shooting one person because they're gay or black is going to be 3 times the penalty. A crime is a crime. Stop making people protected classes. Adopt a fair tax, as outlined by fairtax.org. It saves money. It eliminates the IRS. We'll come up to that again in a couple of minutes. The IRS is a huge, huge problem. Not only by the size of the regulations and laws, but by the size of the government. It's a huge department. Close the border. The money for the fence has already been authorized. Build it, lock it down, patrol it, enforce it. Tort reform. Tort reform is necessary. Medical practices costs have gone through the roof because doctors are afraid not to do certain tests because they'll be sued. If you sue somebody and you lose, you should pay their legal fees. Mandatory overhaul of all school books. Get regular citizens to review the school books for accuracy, to get rid of bias. Take the Islamist slant out of it. The Islamists have their tentacles deep in our school books. Push for strong school voucher programs. Your taxes are paying for public school. If you don't want your kids in public school, you should get a share of your taxes back so that you can pay for your kid to go to school where you want. It works. It worked in D.C. It worked in New York City. Obama has closed several of those programs because the teachers' unions don't like them. We're going to come to that again in a few minutes, too. Create tax incentives for corporations to provide technology, school, computers and stuff for K through 12 schools. Bring back real light bulbs. For God's sake, this crap that Obama pushed through just ticks me off. If you want to have a real America, we want real freaking light bulbs again. Undo every executive order that Obama has ever signed, because not one of them would have done a thing to make America great. We need to close down the following federal departments. Every one of these departments is represented in every state in the union. Close the IRS, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Department of Transportation, the Department of Education, the Department of Energy, the Department of the Interior. Close, 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 close. Let the states deal with it. Sell any government-owned building that is not being used by the federal government. If the buildings are being rented or leased out, sell them and let somebody take over the leases. We're not in the leasing business. If the buildings are vacant, sell them. Sell any government land that is not particularly being used for government purposes. Turn all parks over to the states. The federal government doesn't need a national park system. These parks are in the states. Let them be state parks. And end all public employee unions. These unions petition the Democrats for more money for their employees, so the government employees get more money and more benefits. In return, government employees always vote for the Democrats. It's not the Democrats' money to give away, to give raises for. It's taxpayer dollars. End all government unions. If you want to keep your job, do the job. You don't need a union to protect your job. Folks, that's about all I got. I couldn't come up with much. So I've got a caller on the line. Ron, are you with me, brother? Folks, we're getting ready to go to our last break. Ron, would you please call back in, brother? I'd love to have you come in and talk about what we've covered. Folks, we'll be back in just 2 minutes. Please Stay with us.
Tom O'Halloran has a not-so-common core spelling lesson for the Obama administration. Ready? There is no K in America.
There's kids that can't pray in school, $100 tanks of gas. I can tell you right now, this country ain't supposed to be like that. No, that ain't my America. That ain't this country's roots. You wanna slam all on the Sam, but I ain't letting you. Yeah, I'm mad as hell, and you know I still bleed red, white, and blue. They ain't us, and that ain't my America. Oh no, that ain't my America. No, 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 no. That ain't my America.
Back to the Wednesday edition of Patriot Radio. Folks, don't forget to tune in Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time for Jihad on America. I just finished going through my list of what we need to do to get this country back on track. We got a caller, my good friend Ron. Ron, are you with me, brother?
How you doing, Tom? Great show, buddy.
Thank you. What do you think?
I like all your ideas, and one thing that hit me, at least got my attention, is when we're talking about the career politicians. I mean, we've got to end this, and we can't end this by depending on them to vote yes or no in Congress, because it's pretty obvious how they're going to vote. They're going to vote. They vote themselves everything. Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
pay raises.
yeah.
All in favor of a pay raise? Come on, nobody?
Yeah.
Nobody? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, they vote themselves a pay raise. They vote themselves vacation. They vote themselves everything. They do as they please, and they don't do a damn thing. They just
Right.
sit there and collect a paycheck. I mean, it's obvious in this administration, but specifically in this administration, we sit here and watch it. They can't do anything. They cannot work together. Now, granted, they have a president that's out of control, a president that thinks he doesn't need them. You know, I understand that part. But because of that, they should be taking action against him for that. And they don't do that. It's like they're scared of this guy.
Yeah,
So,
well, I think
you know,
they are. They may get a phone call in the middle of the night. If you don't do this, your kid's going to disappear. You know, maybe
Yeah,
somebody whispers in the phone, remember what happened to Breitbart?
yeah.
But you're right.
And I seen what took place to Chief Justice, who was it?
Roberts?
Not Tom. You and we're going to do this, and I came up with a whole bunch of bullshit they spewed. You know, it's almost like he got a phone call in the middle of the night and said, "Listen, you're going to do this, or you know, we got your children." Something strange took place there.
Exactly, because it was almost overnight. Then a day and a half of the draft being done this way, and then 36 hours later, it comes out 180 out from that.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
but it's going to take some drastic steps, and it's not going to be little baby steps. It's, you know, to hell with your $174,000. If you want to get elected, you're going to agree to go to D.C. on $65,000 or $80,000, whatever it is that makes it equitable with a senior postal manager.
Yeah.
None of this special class crap. You're a government employee, a GS-15 or whatever it's called. That's it. Lock and load. You want the job or not?
Yeah. I think it should be like a 10-year limit, or, you know, something in that neighborhood. They put on all these people serving in any capacity in Washington, D.C., because they get up there, they become part of the crowd. They become part of the country club.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And I mean, we see some guys go up there. We've seen them, men and women, go up there with great intentions. Next thing you know, They went up there to fight for you, and what are they doing? They're part of the establishment.
Absolutely.
They join in.
I'm with you. I said 2 at each level, but I like your idea because the Senate is 6 years. We're not going to change the number of years. That's constitutionally cement. But backing it off to 2 years in the 2 terms in the House, that's 4 years, and one 6-year term in the Senate, and boom, move on. Go back to being a doctor. Go back to being an engineer or whatever you were. Absolutely.
Yeah. That to me, that's my biggest take from this. I mean, I think we're at a stalemate. I don't see either nothing getting fixed without, God forbid, a revolution. And I mean, there's going to be an uprising when they come for your guns. And let me tell you something about Hillary Clinton. You think Obama's bad? I mean, all you got to do is go back and listen to some of the things that this woman has said. She's after your guns. She wants your guns. She thinks we're the minority, and we're far from it.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. There's a great book written just a couple months ago by a friend of mine, Jim Garrity. It's called The Weed Agency. They've been a sponsor of my show for several weeks. He wrote a book about a government department that was founded almost on a lark. They were to eradicate weeds from your yard. And when it was found out what they did, and people were trying to defund it and get it taken apart and save some money, every time it was tried, they just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and opening more offices and having more power. And that's what we're facing. There are boards, there are agencies out there that serve no purpose, but people sit on these boards and draw tens of thousands of dollars every year. It's absolutely insane. What do we need 15 agencies to certify fish for? And Obama swore he was going to take care of it. He hasn't. I don't say shut the board down. Shut the departments down. Department of the Interior. Well, we don't need a Department of the Interior if we take away the government lands. The federal government doesn't need to own lands. The states own lands.
Yeah.
And people that are in the states have a lot better control over state employees than we do over the federal government. So
when people realize that what Obama's plan is, and it's a globalist type of plan, is to hand everything over, all power over to the United Nations. That's what he's doing.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's clearly his plan.
Absolutely. And now he's looking at doing a new, he can't make it a treaty because the Senate would have to sign off, and he's not going to get that. So he's trying to do call a contract, a binding agreement between countries. Bull crap, that's a treaty.
Yeah.
But he's trying to do some green, I forget what it was, something to do with green energy or global warming or something, but to make a binding agreement where we'll be committed to give other countries our money because we're not falling within his guidelines. Now, we need to get this whole thing back to the Constitution. We need to get the government shrunk, and I don't mean 10% of the employees. I'm talking closing down 6 major departments. Now, there may need to be a kind of a central shell with a half a dozen employees for each of those departments to coordinate between the states or something. But we certainly don't need the thousands and thousands and thousands of employees for each department. So I've seen a lot of plans. Every politician that's running for office has 5 bullet points to get the nation back on track. Nobody has gone where I've gone.
I agree. And like I said, I just wanted to once again reiterate, great show and a great topic. And I know you're getting short on minutes, so I'm going to back out here and let you do what you do best.
Ron, brother, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being there every week and for being part of the show. Thank you.
You bet, bud.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is my plan. If we can find the right people willing to go up and serve, not to get rich, not to make connections to move on and make money as a lobbyist afterwards, people to go up and be heroes, to vote for bills like smaller payroll. And nobody's going to sign on to this, but go up there and take the seat, hold the seat. Next election, we'll get 10 people in there. The election after that, we'll get another 10 people. The election after that, we'll get there. It may take 3 or 4 election cycles of not getting anything passed, but eventually we'll have enough people willing to vote for the right stuff and only the right stuff. But we need people that won't play along to get along. Go up and be a cog or a wrench in the gears. Bring it to a stop. Don't let either side get your vote for the pork, for the crap, for all the games that they play up there. Go to serve. Go to bring America back to greatness. If not you, then who? It's not too late to turn our country back around and get her back on track. But folks, at this point in the fight, if you're not helping, you're part of the problem. And it's high time to take your gloves off and fight for what you believe in. There's a lot of people fighting intent on destroying America. Some of them we elected. Some of them, the scumbags that are up there now, have been bringing czars in to help them destroy America. But we either engage them now or we accept that we're willing to turn America over to our kids and our grandkids in a much weaker, much more dangerous, much less free, with much less opportunity than we've known. I'm not willing to agree to do that. Are you? Good night, America. God bless you and yours. This is Tom O'Halloran. I'm out.